I didn't have my mic plugged in. I'm gonna give everybody a chance on Facebook and IG to sign back on. Let me send out another link. There we go. Hey Katrina, can you pass me a towel real quick? Boom, 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 boom. Alright, let me give my Facebook and my IG people a chance to get back. Yeah, get that sweating. You gotta have a team. You gotta have a team. Alright. And they get hot under these lights, y'all. Like, for real. They really do. That's why I don't wear makeup. I couldn't do it. Alright, y'all hear me now, right? Cool, that's what's up. If y'all don't know who I'm listening to, this is Gyptian, Hold You. Yeah. Let's go. Alright, I'll try to get a few people to get back in. Look, it's your boy Jay, the cast of one half of the Nitty Gritty Show. Alright, thank you, Karen. Said you can hear me now. That's what's up. Kat's not on the show, so what I was saying earlier, but y'all couldn't hear me. Yeah, Kat, she just couldn't do it today. She said, look, I don't feel like having to put on makeup and do the hair. And I get it, because I don't have to do all that. Like, I literally just, make sure I feel showered. Make sure my shirt is clean for the most part. I just, brush my hair a little bit, and I'm ready to go. But ladies, y'all got way more than that to do. So, I get it. So, sometimes Kat gets a break. But, we keep it moving. It's Memorial Day weekend. So I wanted to make sure I had some jams going. So we definitely about to get with it tonight. I'm about to be just playing a bunch of random stuff probably throughout the show. Stuff I probably shouldn't play. Because I don't want us to get blocked on IG. But we're going to try to get with it. We're going to try to get away with it. But we is here. Boom. Make sure all my other stuff is working. So tonight we're going to be talking about what qualifies you as a mentor or an OG. I think that's an important conversation to have. A lot of people running around here giving advice. If y'all saw the soapbox this week, I actually talked about paying for expertise, right? And I think it's important that, if you're going to qualify somebody to be your mentor or to be your teacher or to do something for you, I think it's important that when you're trying to qualify those individuals, make sure they got their, you want to really make sure they got their stuff together. So that's what we're going to be talking about right now tonight. And we're going to dig into it. But first, got to do my business shout out. Shout out to Legacy Food Group. They were out doing their thing this week. They were selling at, I can't even think of the spot. My bad, Bill. But they definitely did their thing. Their food is amazing all the time. If you guys are in the DMV area, y'all got to check out Legacy Food Group. I'm not just hyping them. Just to be hyping them. When I said the food is on point, it's like, I ain't gonna say smack your mama good. My mom watching the show, and if I was to smack her, that'd be the end of these 37 years. It would be over. It would be absolutely over. But if y'all haven't had Legacy Food Group, go check them out. Their food is amazing. They're definitely worth a tester. Check them out. I think they put their menus out on Thursdays, and they do Saturday deliveries. Amazing food. If you're in the DMV area, check them out. They're at Legacy Food Group on IG or Facebook. So yeah, definitely check them out. Everybody's like, why is the Five Network? I gotta send them a new link. Hold on, give me 1 second, y'all. Here you go. New link, folks. Got you with the new link. I still got people looking at the old, they was looking at the old broadcast. And they need the current joint. There you go. If you got that, you're good to go. So anyway, also let's talk about some current news. I want to say congratulations to all the graduates. Let me drop a bomb for y'all. I'm trying to get done with this soundboard real quick. Congratulations to all the graduates. I've seen people graduating from college. Folks out here getting master's degrees. I see people out here getting second bachelor's, doctor degrees. I see folks out here just graduating from high school. Some of y'all were actually fortunate enough this year to have proms and graduations. That's what's up. Like, I was happy to see that pop off. That was a good thing. So shout out to all the grads out there. For anybody watching, if you still can't hear, all you have to do is click on to the new live that I started, and you'll be able to hear me just fine. I've heard a couple of people shot me a few messages, but they just got to hit on the second live, and you guys will be good to go. Also, I want to bring up the George Floyd Policing Act. That can't be a thing that we forget about. We have to make sure that we're still very intentional about supporting that cause. I know we're excited about Kamala being in office, and I know it's like cool to have the Democrats there for those that voted that way. But at the end of the day, it means nothing, absolutely nothing, if we don't start passing things that's going to help our community. And I think we can all agree that when it comes to our community, something we want to see passed or something we want to see done is the George Floyd Policing Act. It's going to stop immunity for police officers when they murder us. Yes, I said murder. It's going to make sure that instead of pulling these funds out of the local communities that could be building more schools, paying teachers more, building parks and playgrounds, all the things we need in the inner city or whatever city you live in. Instead, when we have to have these lawsuits and these settlements, let's pull it from the pension funds. Pull it from the policing funds. Let them feel the pain. Let folks who are even innocent feel the pain. Because that's what goes on right now. Your family wins a lawsuit or a settlement because they didn't kill your daughter or your son. The community feels the brunt of that pain because that's money and millions of tax dollars taken from everyone. And that's not fair. Because you didn't shoot that brother down the street. You didn't shoot that sister down the street. The people sworn to protect and serve us did that. So they should feel the brunt of them not exercising some type of restraint or better control while doing their job. And yes, I used to be a federal police officer, so I could talk that trash if I want to, because I know how the job's supposed to be done, and they ain't doing it right. It don't take all that. Also, if we're talking a little bit about Congress, I gotta throw this out there. The Capitol insurrection, I know that finally got through the House, but look, call your senator. The number's out there. Matter of fact, I'll make sure I post it today on all of our platforms. But you can Google it for real. Google's your best friend. But call the Senate. Let your local senator know, hey, look, I want this to be investigated. Because when it was Hillary Clinton's turn, when it was Benghazi, they chased her all the way around the mulberry bush trying to figure out what happened with these emails and trying to figure out what was up. We've seen these folks act like whole monkeys climbing on the Capitol building. And we already had this conversation before, but we already know if they were any other color, any other race or creed, them jokers would have been killed. They would have died. All right? So we got to do something to fix that. That's not cool. And we do need to investigate that insurrection. Everybody involved, anybody who said anything that could have encouraged that behavior needs to be held accountable to their actions. Period. So we definitely got to do that. Oh, Debbie in the building. I see you. The DMV is here. Paul Thompson in the building too. So you know already I got to hit you with another because we got Baltimore in the building. Pastor Paul, you guys need to check out the Love Seat. Paul and Nikki be dropping knowledge for y'all, man. Y'all need to check them out. And then also, like I said before, it's Memorial Day weekend coming up. Tomorrow we'll do a Music Monday. I had to put this in there so I can remind you. We're doing Music Monday tomorrow, right? On Music Monday, we're going to be talking about the best barbecue music, the best backyard music, good time music, whatever you do, fish fry, crab fest, for all those that live in the DMV area. I want to see what you got. Drop your songs. We're going to be playing them tomorrow on Music Monday. We're going to talk about, what's the best song to line dance to. Because we do the electric slide. Do we listen to the electric slide still? Are we listening to Cameo Candy? Would we rather play Frankie Beverly and Maze? I want to know. I want to get your thoughts. What's the best holiday backyard music we could rock to? We're going to play all that music tomorrow night on Music Monday. Hopefully Kat would be able to join us for that, because I love having my music conversations with her. Because y'all know Kat sing. I don't think people know this, and I'll be putting her out there like that. Kat sings, y'all. Like, she for real sings. Y'all gotta, y'all need to start, requesting to put her on the spot to say, can you sing on live? So that way she can, perform for y'all here. She's dope, for real, for real. But anyways, let's get down to the nitty gritty. Today, we're going to break down what it means to be an OG. For those that don't know, an OG simply means original gangster. But these days, it's a term of endearment, especially in our community, for that elder statesman maybe at the job, Some people refer to their family members, especially shout out Chicago. Some of them refer to their parents and their aunties, their uncles as OGs, mentors, such like. But we're going to really break down what it really means to be a mentor, or what you should start qualifying when you're looking for a mentor. And this is important because I hear so many people, especially in our community, saying, "Oh yeah, pastor said it," and "Oh, sister so and so said this." Or I hear some people saying, "Oh yeah, my homie," you know what I'm saying? Or they got an older cousin, or whatever the case is, whatever the relationship is. They put so much stock into what some of these people are saying and the influence they're allowed to have in their life. But then it's, have we qualified if they're even in a position to be doing it in the first place? Have we qualified, are they in a position to really be speaking on to my marriage? I mean, are you married? Are you like a bitter divorcee? I mean, we just got to talk about it. We have to better qualify who are going to be the voices in our life. So we're going to have this conversation today about, basically what makes you an OG? Why are you qualified to give into my life? Or better yet, why am I qualifying you to speak onto my life, right? So let's get down to it. I got some definitions. So that way, I know people have different opinions. Yo, what's up, cuz? I see you drop a bomb. Cleveland in the building. So when we talk about what's a mentor is a verb, right? So it's an action. This is important to the conversation tonight. Someone who teaches or gives help and advice to a less experienced and often younger person, right? So typically a mentor is going to be someone who's older, right? And they're going to they're going to give help and advice to someone less experienced. And they're going to teach. That means they're going to educate. They're going to inform, right? To help somebody better their ideals. Shout out to my teachers listening right now. Shout out to Smitty. I see you. You know what I'm saying? My teachers. Shout out to Paul because you preach that word, right? So shout out to all my teachers. And then the second term I want to talk about, right? Because often when we talk about OGs and we talk about the various people we allow to input into our lives, we're also looking at role models, right? These people normally are role models. Well, what's a role model? It's a noun, a person looked to by others as an example to be imitated. As an example to be imitated. I think that's a key thing to look at there, because if you're an example and your life is one to where I want to imitate you. Let's say I'm an aspiring young lawyer. You're a lawyer. I'm looking at your case record. I'm looking at how you handle your cases, your work ethic. I want to imitate you to some degree because I want some level of the success you have, right? These are our role models. And I think this is important because when you start talking about celebrity and the people we look to, and folks want to say, I want to move like this rapper, or I want to move like this singer or this actor, let's be careful when you place those people in the role model role for yourself. Because is that really someone you want to imitate? Would imitating them be successful for you in the things that you're trying to do in your life? Juanita, I see you. What's going on, cuz? Drop a bomb for the DMV. So let's talk about what it really means to be a role model. What it means. Oh, I see you, baby girl. Tennessee in the building. I see my niece, Natalie. Natalie, about to learn something tonight, baby girl. All right? I'm pretty sure your dad, my brother, he gonna okay everything I say tonight on his live. So just be listening. So anyways, I looked up 8 qualities of a good mentor. Actually, I looked up a lot of different things, and I felt like this was the best summary of this conversation. 8 qualities of a good mentor. Quality number 1, and I want to talk about it. Mentors should be enthusiastic about their role. Mentors should be enthusiastic about their role. Why is that important? If you're going to put yourself as that OG, if you're going to be that person that people are supposed to come to, you should with gladness want to teach that next generation. It shouldn't be a chore that this young married couple is calling you because they decided to make you a confidant that they can talk to about their marriage. That shouldn't be a chore for you, right? Yeah, they're going to call you at midnight some nights because they didn't get into a fight or whatever the situation is. But you should with gladness say, hey, you know what? I'm going to be down for you. I'm going to advise you this way. because I am invested and I care enough about your relationship that, hey, you know what? I'm enthusiastic about seeing you guys through. I'm enthusiastic about you going further in the job, learning more about XYZ position or about this industry or whatever field. Whatever it is you're instructing somebody on, they should be enthusiastic. And I'd be curious to know your thoughts about that. For those that may be mentors on the call or in a position where you can teach or instruct or help rise up the next generation, are you enthusiastic? Do you take on with gladness, with joy, to teach and to instruct and to position yourself to be a role model? Meaning you may have to live your life to a higher degree of execution. There's certain things you don't do that maybe other people will do because you realize you have mentees out there. You have folks out there looking to you for your example. So do you take on that call with gladness? I'm curious to see what y'all might be saying in the comments about that, because I think that's important. Are you enthusiastic about the role of being a mentor? And these are different little check boxes we got to really talk about when you're saying, yeah, you know, so-and-so, that's my OG right there. Yeah, you know, he be putting me on. Oh, yeah, you know, I'm like an OG to these little young boys out here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, these young boys, they look at me, you know, for advice. I'm helping them out. Well, are you in a position really to do that? And do you enjoy doing it? And, you know, are you being discreet about it too? Because especially if you're advising people like on their marriage, or if you're helping people out with certain things, there should be some level of confidency between you and the person you're mentoring, right? It shouldn't have to be one of those things where you spend an hour on the phone gossiping about them, right? It should be one of those things like, you know, you take on with gladness that, hey, you know what? They looking to me for advice. They're looking to me to be a role model to them. And with gladness, I'm going to help instruct whatever they got going on. I think that's important. All right. Be curious to see your thoughts or your comments on that. The next one, a mentor should fit you. And this one really stuck out to me because oftentimes some people want to pour into your life and they're not really designed or the right fit for you to be advising you. It may be a situation where it's like, you know what, I get it. You want to tell me stuff or you want to do that, but maybe you're not a right fit for me. I'll use a simple example. You want to be a firefighter, but you got somebody who is a baker trying to tell you how to firefight. It might be better to get an older firefighter or a retired one or somebody in that field actively working as a firefighter to be your mentor. You know, like, hey, they got 10 years on the job. They received awards and accommodations. They're like a team leader or some type of manager within that station or a captain or something like that. That should be that would be a designated mentor that fits you, that runs in line with things you want. Reaching out to the guy who is a baker, I mean, that's great. He might be an amazing baker. He might be on Food Network. He might be selling cookies and cakes and doing all kind of stuff. But the baker is not a good fit to advise the young firefighter, right? So then when we start getting more granular, right? I know that's a real basic example. But then when we start looking at, oh, okay, you want XYZ kind of marriage, who's going to be the best fit for you? Certain people have certain customs and ideals that don't work. Maybe it might be based in faith. Maybe it might be based in what your goals are as a couple. So you might want to try to align yourself to an older couple or some type of thought process that better aligns to your goals. Is it a good fit? Sometimes culturally that matters. And I know a lot of people like to say, you know, well, you know, culture shouldn't matter. But it does matter. Someone understanding the black experience matters. I seen a clip on IG recently, and somebody had a conversation that Denzel Washington had. And Denzel was asked a question. I think it was dealing with the movie Fences. And someone asked the question like, you know, was it important that a black person direct this movie? And he answered in such a way that it wasn't so much about the color as much as it was about the culture. Because, and he used these examples. He said, you know, Schindler's List was done by, now I forget like who did Schindler's List. But Schindler's List was done by one person. And then you had movies that were done by Martin Scorsese, right? About the Italian experience. But because they understand the culture And they're great. They're great producers, right? But you wouldn't have seen Martin Scorsese do Schindler's List. He could have probably done it. I mean, he's an amazing producer, director. He could probably touch any project, but would it really make sense for him to touch that project? So for him, he was like, you know, in the black community, we understand the sizzle of the hot cone, right? We understand what pink lotion is and, you know, making sure you don't got ashy knuckles. Because that's something culturally that stands out for us. So when you have somebody that understands the culture and the vision of it, it makes more sense. It's a better fit now for the project, right? So I think it's important that we find mentorships and people that fit us. I always recommend to a lot of folks, especially being a black man in America, a black man trying to work, I think it's important. Yeah, I always look for mentors in any kind of way at the job. But then I do ideally try to find someone who looks like me, someone who will understand my experience and my voice and my outlook. I think it's important. That's why these companies have these, you know, African American cohorts, or they have Asian American cohorts, Latino cohorts. They have LGBTQ cohorts. I think it's important to find people that you relate to in the job, and you can find someone who's been there for a while that understands your voice, right? So is that mentor a good fit? Third part is mentors should be value learning. If you got somebody out there, and like we see this a lot with families sometimes, right? You might have an aunt or an uncle that might fit this. And you know, if the shoe fits, you know, let them wear it. But if that one person, they know everything about everything, you can't know everything about everything. Like you talk about houses, they know something about that. You can talk about crypto, they know something about that. You tell them about the law, they know something about that. And meanwhile, you know, they've been working at CVS for the last 20 years, right? And there's nothing wrong with working at CVS for the last 20 years, but are you really in a position to be running your mouth about advice if you're not if you don't have the experience yourself, right? And if you don't value learning yourself, you should literally value, you should be in a place, if you're a mentor, that means you're in a space where you're constantly learning. You probably should have a mentor of your own. You should be always reading books, updating your knowledge. Shout out to my grandfather, Squirt, a.k.a. Squirt, Richard Stroman. Every time you would talk to Mr. Stroman, yeah, I see the amen from Aunt Debbie, I see you. Every time you would talk to Grandpa Stroman, or what we now know as the 11th Street legend, he never presented his opinion. And it used to annoy people in conversation because it seemed robotic at times. But he never gave you his opinion. You know what he gave you? He gave you stats and he gave you facts. He would go to the almanac and he would say, hey, according to the almanac, this is what's going on. He would say, oh, pull up that encyclopedia real quick. You want to talk about XYZ country? Let's look at it. He'll talk about, well, let's look at the census. And black people ain't getting married enough. And our marriages are dropping. I remember he used to say stuff that I thought was crazy. He used to be like, it's going to come a time when these black girls can't get pregnant. And you're like, come on, granddad, you tripping. Nah, I read it. And sure enough, we're in a situation now. Black women are having so many issues within their body. And we need to make sure that black female voices are being heard, especially when it comes to health. Like, you guys go through so much. And I'll see posts about it. I don't really chime in and get too much into it because it's not really my space because I am a man, right? But I recognize it. I have daughters. I have a wife. I have a mother. I got all these family members around me, so I'm concerned about their health and what that's going to look like as time goes on. You know, do we have the proper agency and representation when it comes to women's health, especially black women, right? And I remember he used to say that, and I'm like, man, that's crazy. I remember he used to say, like, you know what? Y'all generation about to be worse off than us. And I thought he was tripping because I'm like, how? And I see, shout out Mamie, she said facts. I'm like, how you figure we going to be worse off? I was thinking to myself, like, man, we got Nintendo. We got video games. We got all this stuff. How you going to tell me we worse off? We smarter, better. All your generation didn't go to college. We're all going to college. We're getting our degrees. We're getting multiple degrees. How are we worse off? And then when you start looking at the actual stats, Pew Research, blackresearch.com, some of these spots, they're telling you 69% of the next generation, it will be worse off than the previous generation. Fewer homes owned, marriages down, income not equating to the rising inflation. to meet the needs of what it means to be comfortable and give your kids or your family or whatever you want the best options out of life. And we see that going on now. I can't remember the exact number. I want to say it's like 80% of the black community, when they purchase homes, they don't pay them off. And when you start talking about generational wealth and bringing things down, these are keys and factors that go into that. So we have to value learning. We have to value educating ourselves so we can understand the wisdom that's coming down. Because I can't go to you for knowledge and then you're not putting more knowledge into you. So if you're going to be a mentor, if you're going to be that OG, if you're going to be that person that everybody need to come to, how are you educating yourself daily to be in a place to educate these young folks? Next point was mentors encourage you to step out of your comfort zone. They challenge you. I'm a military guy, for those that don't know. Shout out to all my military people out here watching. When you're in the military, there's some stuff they're going to have you do in basic training. For those that know, that's crazy. Sometimes you be like, I think Uncle Sam trying to kill me. Do you really want me to be a soldier in the military? Or are you just trying to take me out? Because this is crazy. But mentors encourage you to come out of your comfort zone. They're going to tell you, well, you know what? Maybe if you're having problems at the job and they don't respect your worth, if they don't want to give you the raise you deserve, if they're underpaying you compared to those working next to you, baby girl, you may have to go get another job, right? Oftentimes, and I got to bring this up, especially when it comes to men, we should be challenging these young men to go work, to spend most of their time out here trying to earn $1. Not out here, hey, if I was your age, I'll go do this. Oh man, if I could be 24 again, if I could be 21 again. Because we hear this in the church, from churchmen. We hear this at the job. We hear this from the fraternity guys, right? You know, the older brothers, the old heads. Oh man, if I was 21 again, boy, I'd be knocking them out the park. Come on, man. And especially men. Like, come on, we got to stop telling young men, like, your goal in life as an early 20-year-old, sometimes teenager, 30-year-old, whatever the case. We got to start telling these young men that, yeah, they need to be out here chasing skirts or chasing affection or, you know, these quick, cheap thrills. They should be focused on getting that bag. We should be challenging them not to be comfortable laid up with some girl that they can't even afford to be with in the first place. We should be challenging them, you know what? You need some more money? All right, well, what's your afternoons looking like? Are you free? All right, go get a second job. That's what my OGs told me. When I was a young married man with kids, shoot, all throughout my 20s, those that know me, I can't even think of a time where I didn't have at least 3 jobs, 2 jobs, something. Always working. But you know what old heads is telling me? Go get another job. Hey, go work part-time at the gas station. Go work part-time doing the paper route. Hey, you free on the weekends? Instead of going to brunch, trying to be fresh, you know what I'm saying, got the latest gear on, how about you go run some DoorDash? If you're in the city, you can ride a bike and do it. Right? I got some amens out there. But that's what we should be telling these young men. You know? Like, we should be challenging them to do more. We shouldn't and I get it. We have to have a listening ear, right? You have to allow people to vent. You have to allow people to come to you with the things that bother them. But at some point, advice should challenge somebody. It should force them into a place where it's like, okay, you know what? Maybe it's insane to keep on doing the same things the way I've been doing it. Let me switch up. Let me do it better. Let me do it smarter. Let me do it wiser. And if you're going to be a mentor to someone, you have to be willing to challenge people to step outside their comfort zones. And if someone's going to be your mentor, you should automatically disqualify them today. If they make you feel good about being lazy, if they're making you feel good about being broke, if they're making you feel good about all your failed relationships, knowing that you're the common denominator behind all your failed relationships, right? Then at that point, you should start saying, you know what? This person is keeping me down. They're keeping me in this funk because they're allowing me to feel good about not moving forward. Right? So what am I going to do better? We have to start qualifying these OGs, and if you're going to be that OG, you need to start qualifying yourself better. Mamie made a good point. She said, "Bad advice from old fools," and I think she's in a place. I think she's in a place to say that. Mamie in her 60s, right? I remember when we was young. She said, "Better your circle." One thing that I was always told from a young age: don't be hanging around them knuckleheads. Don't be hanging around them folks that ain't going nowhere. Them folks over there on the corner, chilling, the cool crowd, right? Don't be up there fooling around them because they're going to rub off on you before you rub off on them. We got to change who we're allowing to impact and influence our life. Women, this is for y'all. I wish Kat was here so she can cover me, right, with the ladies. But I think there's enough of y'all on here that love me that know where this is coming from a good place. But if you're the bitter old lady that's divorced and you hate men and men ain't this and men ain't that, you're not in a place to be advising these young ladies that desire to be married or that are married. You need to shut your mouth. Y'all need to stop, right? Young ladies, you can't have some bitter older woman who's still mad at their marriage advise you on how to be married. I think at that point, young ladies, y'all need to go ahead and start qualifying a woman who has some time in the game, who has a husband that loves them in the way that you would hope that your husband would love you. And you need to make both of them mentors to you. Why not embrace the whole couple? You cleave to the wife more so, but then that husband should be able to pour into you too. They should be able to both sit you down and say, hey, you know, you want to get married, you looking for a man? The husband should be able to tell you what to look for, to let you know if he's a bum or not. And then the wife should be able to tell you key things you need to do to keep a man. But you're not going to get that from the bitter old woman. And for those who are bitter old women, those, you know, y'all got your education or whatever. I sound like Kevin Samuels right now, but it's true. It's true. You can't knock the facts. Yeah. Don't be advising these young ladies on love and your heart is still broken. You ain't seen no therapy, no counselor to deal with your hurt, and you're out here passing hurt along to the next generation. You're not in a place to tell people how to love, so stop doing it. Got to move outside your comfort zone. We got a couple of points to make, and I got some more questions for y'all. But I'll be curious to know y'all thoughts on that. Feel free to type and join. Uncle Jeff, I see you. Drop a bomb. I know y'all can't hear it. Nia, I see you. Drop a bomb for you. Only y'all can hear it, but hey, you know, y'all have to throw that out. Debbie said that's absolutely right. And it is. It is. Also, mentors have to be good listeners. We have to be in a place where we listen to the problems that are coming out of us, right? You got to be active listeners. If you always talking, how can you advise me? It's almost like I come into your car shop, right? And I tell you, hey man, my tires are out. I need some new tires. And you run around here telling me, yeah, we're going to get that windshield replaced. It's going to take 5 days. We're going to have to keep your car. Hold up. Did you hear what I said? My windshield fine. Ain't no cracks here. I just told you my tire's out. You see I got the donut on there. I need you to replace the tire. And while I'm here, I need your advice on tires. Should I replace all of them? Should I replace 2 at a time? Hello? What should I be doing about that? Karen, I feel you, girl. She said preaching tonight. Mentors should be good listeners. And I teach this both ways. I shouldn't say I'm teaching it because I've just more or less taken the information for something I studied. But it needs to be taught both ways. One, if you're going to be the mentor, you need to listen to these people. So that way we can understand, like, okay, what's their real plight? How do I really help them? And then you got to understand when listening, you know what? It's okay for you as a mentor to say, I don't know. But you know what? You could go here. I was talking to a young cousin today of mine, and he was asking me about stocks and stuff. And I was telling him, hey, you know what, bro? I don't know. And I mean, like, I do know. I know what's working for me based off where I'm at in my life. But I can't advise you on where to invest your money in crypto or stocks or whatever. But I told him where to go. Shout out to my man Armando Pentoa, Tall Guy Tycoon, at Tall Guy Tycoon on IG. He gives advice all the time on stocks and all of that. As a mentor, you should be able to listen to something. And then even if you don't understand it, you should be able to thoroughly listen. No, you don't understand. No, you can't advise and say, hey, you know what? I have a CPA that can help you with your taxes. Because I don't do that stuff, girl. I don't know. You need to go talk to so-and-so. Oh, you're going through some type of litigation or whatever in the courts, or you're going through this, you know what? Let me give you the name of this lawyer. They can help you. That's part of being a good mentor, is listening. And if you have a mentor that doesn't listen to you, if you know they don't understand your needs or your problems, your predicaments, you need to exchange them out to a better one that listens. They need to be active listeners. Mentors also need to know how to provide feedback. And that goes hand in hand with the listening. You can't provide good feedback if you're not listening properly. And you have to have IQ and EQ. And what I mean by that is you have to have an emotional intelligence, right? But you also have to have that book smarts too. You need to be able to say, hey, according to XYZ, this, you need to do that. But you should be caring enough, as it goes back to the first point, mentors should be enthusiastic about their role, right? So because you care about the person you're advising, you should know how to go to them to make sure they can receive it. If something that we come across all the time in life is death, right? And you may know, like, hey, you know, you guys need to figure out your affairs. You need to figure out, you know, how you're going to do this and do that. But you need to have some bedside manner at that point, because that person is broken down. And they can't think about, you know, they're not thinking about the mortician and the bills and where to go find the paperwork. You have to guide them that way, but you need to do it with some type of grace. You got to understand, this is a traumatic time for this individual. They're going to be crying. They're going to be balled up in the corner somewhere, messed up. They just lost somebody important to them. You got to know how to give them the feedback properly. If you know they're lollygagging and they're wasting time, because you got to move forward to the next step, baby. I know this sucks, but you got to know how to, you got to work that angle. You got to do it in a way that helps that person. They got to know how to give feedback. You have to know how not to crush somebody's spirits altogether, right? You have to do it with love intended. So we have to know how to give feedback. Also, your mentors, and this goes back to when I used the role model definition, right? When we talked about what is a role model, it's a noun, a person looked to by others as an example to be imitated. Well, your mentors, they should treat others respectfully. Your mentors should be the kind of people, if they take you out to lunch, they should be tipping well, right? They should be the kind of people who are courteous, who say hello. They have good manners, right? Your mentors are people we should want to imitate. They should be role models. And they should treat people around them well. If they're nasty, if they look down on people, that's not a good mentor, guys. We got to cancel them. And if you're a said mentor and you know you need to work on your disposition, you're not qualified to be a mentor until you can be enthusiastic about the role. Meaning, you should feel good about having to die unto yourself daily, for all my Christians out there, right? You should feel good about having to have restraint, not smack somebody in the mouth or be ready to punch them in the face. You know what I'm saying? And we have our moments. Especially living in society today, we all have our moments where we want to do that, but we should be in a place where we can step back and we should be an example to those watching us. The first time you're met with some type of adversity or some type of challenge, those around you watching you should see that you move with some kind of grace. They should be like, you know what? And let me talk to parents tonight. If you're going to be that main mentor in your child's life, you can't be out there bad-mouthing their baby daddy every day. Man, you can't be out there bad-mouthing the baby mama all the time. I mean, y'all did make a child together. They can't be that bad. Hello. Some of y'all got multiple together. So you have to treat other people well, even people you may not particularly care about. Because I'm assuming if y'all not together anymore, y'all may not be the best of friends. Possibly. You know, maybe you are. I know some folks that co-parent really, really well, and they are the best of friends, but that's not always the case. And if that's not your case, you can't be out here bad-mouthing your baby mama and your baby daddy. Every time you talk to your child, yeah, you act just... Every time the child does something wrong, the first thing they say, yeah, you acting just like your daddy. Yeah, I can't stand you right now. You look just like your mama. How you gonna tell your child that? The person you decide to procreate with. Hello? As a mentor, sometimes you have to shield people from the ugliness of certain interactions. And the last point, and then I got some more questions for y'all if we got the time. We're almost at time. I might even go over a few minutes just because I had some issues with the mic earlier. My bad, y'all. But the last one And this goes back to the soapbox. If you watched the soapbox earlier this week when I said you have to pay for expertise. The last one is they should be experts in their field. If somebody's going to be a mentor, make sure they got some kind of qualification to be running around saying they're going to be your mentor. All right? I use the example of a baker or a fireman, but I'll use another one. You want to be a lawyer. A lawyer should probably be a mentor if that's what they're supposed to be advising in your life. You want to be a doctor. Don't be asking so-and-so who's just an RN. I mean, I get it. They know something about the medical field, but you desire to be a doctor. So you might want to talk to a doctor about how you're going to advance in life. It just makes sense. And I'm going to say something that might sting to some people, but it's true. I know something that I practice in my life. First thing you should always do when you go to a new job is you should always tie yourself to the person who is not just doing well at the job, they're advancing through the job. So I would if you're going to be working in sales, you should try to find that sales manager who everybody says, oh yeah, back when they was selling, they was good with it. But they took their skills and now they're managing teams, right? That's the kind of person you want to link yourself to. Sometimes we think just because of age, somebody is an expert in their field. No, they're just been in the field a long time. They may not be an expert. We've all seen that one bitter old person at the job. I don't care what job you've been at. I don't care if it's law. I don't care if it's working at a bookstore. You always seen that one old person that been there for 20 years, 30 years. They know they know where all the best coffee spots are around the office. They got their favorite place to kick their feet up and sleep. They know just how far to bend the rules before they get fired. But they never been fired because they've been there for the last 30 years. But they're not really teaching you how to be better at the job. They don't desire to move up in the job. They're not experts at the job. They just have time in. And they're some of the worst people. These folks, these are not the OGs or the mentors you need at the job. And some people are just old at life. They're just old. Yeah, you're old. But are you in a position to really advise? Are you an expert at anything? You've been at the job for 30 years. You ain't got no promotion. You haven't even had enough sense to move outside your comfort zone and get promoted. Or even just to say, I want to become a senior rep. Sometimes you don't have to actually be a manager. You can just move to a higher form of individual contributor. And you got the folks they've been literally doing the same thing for the last decade. And they're trying to tell you how to move up at the job. How to get better at the career. Debbie makes a good point. She says, try to encourage a person. And that's true. You got some folks there, they so bitter at the job, they so mad, and they see somebody trying to move up, and they don't even encourage you. They talk down to you. Look at you coming in early. They ain't going to pay you no more money if you come in early. I don't know why you're doing all of that. You don't got to clean up your station all like that. I don't know why you're doing that. You ain't going to get no brownie points. You ain't going to get no brownie points doing all that. Just bitter. Just literally an old fart. They got nothing good to put out there. Yeah, they ain't gonna ever promote no black person at this company. Oh yeah, we've heard that one plenty of times. Yeah, they ain't gonna hurt. Yeah, you black. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, this is a white man company, brother. You ain't gonna. And then meanwhile, while they're saying that, there'll be that one black person or a few that have moved up. And yeah, you can say whatever. Oh yeah, they are Uncle Tom. That's the only reason why. Well, maybe their work ethic is better. They need to be an expert. Period. If you want somebody to be a mentor, they're going to mentor you in a certain place of life, they should be an expert, or they should have enough successful years at doing said thing that you feel like I could go to them for advice. Shout out to Mike and Jen. Shout out to Herman and Mamie. Both of them are married 30 plus, 40 plus years, and they really love each other. These are happy marriages. Are they perfect marriages? No, not at all. But they're happy marriages. They're marriages where they feel fulfilled by their wife or their husband. Those are kind of people you ask them, hey, you know what? I'm going through whatever in my marriage, we arguing over which way to put the toilet tissue up. And they might come in and say, why y'all even care about that, baby girl, baby boy? You know what I'm saying? Y'all should just be trying to figure out how they love each other, not figure out how this person needs to dominate or do things this way. Right? They should be experts. I want to ask a question though, because that actually took more time than I thought to go through all of that. I got to ask the question, do you guys think age qualifies people to be automatically a mentor? Just curious. Because there's some people that really feel like, you got to... Because there's a difference between respecting your elders and qualifying an elder to be a mentor to you. So I got to ask the question, does age automatically make you a mentor? Sorry, y'all. I had to turn that mic back on. Or speaker. But does age automatically make you a mentor? Another question you can answer which... hey, Jerome in the building. I see you. By way of North Kakalaki, Baltimore. Boom. He said not at all. I agree, brother. I don't think age is an automatic qualifier to say you're in a place to be a mentor. Another question. Should you have more than those you mentored? Karen said, no, sir, it does not. As far as the age thing. Does age make you automatically qualify you to be mentor? I like that. Mamie. And this is somebody with some age on her. She said no. See, age has wisdom. But the other question I asked was, should the people that's mentoring you have more than you? Or at least be a little further along the game. So, prime example, right? I was seeing a conversation where somebody was talking about, this was a few weeks back, they was talking about buying houses. Meanwhile, they never owned a house. I don't think this individual even ever owned a car. And they're talking about how somebody should run their home bills. But you've never been in a position to where you've had that. How are you running around here telling these young guys you they OG and you've never owned a home? You telling them about buying a house and you never bought a house before? Or how are you advising people and the folks you're advising, they got to drive you around everywhere because you don't got a car? But yeah, I'm mentoring so and so. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get young blood together. You know what I'm saying? Feel me? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, Mo? For all my DC people out there. Yeah, I'm telling them how to move, how to do things. You know what I'm saying? They don't quite understand how to move, but I'm telling them. But nothing about the way you move has been beneficial to you. You have, and listen, and life is not all monetary. I'm not trying to say you have the biggest house in the world and all that, but there should be some fruit that we can see from your tree if you're going to be running around here advising people. Now, if you don't have a lot going on, or maybe you just wasn't motivated that way, that's fine, y'all. But guess what? You don't have to run around here saying you're a mentor either. You don't have to go around here saying you're an OG either. You just keep your comments to yourself. However you move through life, if that's working, that's cool. But you shouldn't be first one to jump up and start telling people how they should be doing things. When we look at the context of your life, and it's like, that's nobody I want to imitate. Jerome said, I once heard maturity isn't just living long years. Live deep and wide. Experience and wisdom. I like that. Jerome, see, that's a smart brother right there. And then Mamie said, again, old fools. And that's true. Old fools. And, I'm about to get ready to wrap up here in a little bit, hit to the shout outs and all that, birthdays and everything. But I think it's important in this that we have this conversation in our community, right? Black, Christian, whatever. It's important that we have these conversations because too often we already know the system has its flaws. And we're not always getting all the information we need to get ahead. And I bring up stats like the fact that only 7% of black marriages make it past 5 years. I don't say that to be disparaging. I say it because it's like, hey, okay, we need to course correct. Obviously, we're doing something wrong, and we're taking advice from the wrong people. The stuff I see being said on some of these married at first sight and love and marriage and married but housewives, but half of them ain't wives. We need to start, like, the whole celebrity movement to get advice from. We're qualifying these people as role models. Once again, when we talk about the definition of a role model, it's a noun, a person looked to by others as an example to be imitated. And I'm sorry, these ladies on Housewives of this and basketball, hockey wise, whatever they are, if they don't even have a husband in the first place, do you really want to imitate that? Deborah Gibbs said, I don't think so. So we have to better qualify who we're getting our information from. And if we as a community, if we're going to move the ball forward, if we're going to put our situation, if we're going to set up a legacy where 69% of our children don't have to be worse off than us, 69% of the children should be better off than us. We know there's always going to be those ones, but I would say 60% of them bare minimum should be better off. And then you have some of them that fall in the middle, maybe like 20, 30%. That, they just kind of keep the level, and then maybe 10% of them don't work out sometimes. I mean, it happens. I mean, that's life. Life happens, y'all. But we got to start changing how we communicate and how we love one another. Some of us ain't set to be a mentor right now. That doesn't mean that you may not be a mentor one day. You're just not in a position to be pouring in people's lives. You have some things to fix about your own first. Now, it's one thing to share testimony, life experience. It's like, hey, it's all right to say, hey, look, I don't have X, Y, Z or this and that, but I will tell you, it will be helpful to do this. I think you should talk to so-and-so that can help you out with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not saying I'm a constant mentor, but you can have a moment. I believe we all can have our moment. Shoot, I've seen drunks around D.C. that had moments where they spit straight wisdom to me. But I wouldn't make that person my mentor. He had a moment where he spit some dope stuff to me that I was able to take and say, yeah, that makes sense. Shoot, I just seen people like Cardi B on interviews say some stuff that makes sense. I wouldn't want her to be a role model to my daughters because I don't think that's somebody I want them to imitate. But it's not saying that she don't have a moment where she say something that's smart. Where it don't, she gonna say something that makes sense. Even a broken clock is right 2 times a day. That's what they say. And that's true. So we had to have this conversation. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I wish Kat could have been next to me today, but she was with me in spirit. You know what I'm saying? But we have to start better qualifying who pours into our life and who's going to be our mentors. We got to make better sense of that if we're going to be doing that. You have to start taking inventory of those around you and say, you know what? These are the kind of folks I want around me. These are the kind of people I want to look up to. Or this is the kind of legacy I want to leave because I'm advising these young people on how to live. Let me get ready to play some music here. I think I'm going to play some WizKid tonight. I don't know if you guys listen to like Afro beats. WizKid is dope. He had an album that came out straight out of Lagos. That's really dope. And he's got this one song with a young lady named Tems that's amazing. It's called Essence. And so I'm going to play a little bit of that right now. Yeah. I got some more comments. So, before we leave out, of course, y'all know we do shout-outs and everything. Once again, I want to say a nice little shout-out to all the graduates. I don't care if you was getting your diploma, GED, bachelor's, masters, doctors. Congratulations to all of you. You made it through that work. And it was so nice to see all of you be celebrated and actually have graduations. We actually had graduations this year. I've actually seen that we was out at the Southwest Waterfront last night, and I seen that some folks are out there on their prom. So that was dope. I'm happy to see that the world is somewhat getting back to normal. So shout out to all the 2021 grads, no matter what that endeavor was. It could have been trade school, but shout out to you. You did it. You here. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to my girl, my cousin, Joni Ford. She look good for her age. We ain't gonna say her age, but she look good for her age. Shout out to that. You guys have seen her before. Joni has FordWellness.com. She's been on the show, helping people become the better version of themselves. Shout out to Cedric McNamee. Shout out to Ashley Bynum. Shout out to Jam Cordero. Shout out to Janelle Harris Dixon, one of the dopest writers I know. Shout out to Sydney Kubia. Shout out to Sid Vicious. Shout out to Sean Flora. I hope you're enjoying yourself out there. Last time I checked in with you, you was outside the country. That's what's up. Shout out to my homies, Ashiba Reeves. Shout out to Maria Cruz. Shout out to David Francis. Shout out to the Bud. Shout out to Stephen Williams. Shout out to Brent Rooker. Shout out to my cousin Donald Mayo. Shout out to Tanisha Knight. Some family, they're not family by blood, but they family nonetheless. Shout out to Kurt Jones and shout out to my man Earl Johnson Jr. Also, we got some anniversaries. Shout out to my homie, my good friend. We've been through a lot of life experiences around the same time together. You my man for life, man. You the homie. But shout out to you and Kristen. Shout out to Jason and Kristen Carver. Celebrating their anniversary this month. Shout out to Jeffrey and Stephanie Carr. And shout out to Joe and Sylvia Herndon, 20 plus years of marriage. Those are goals, y'all. Those are real goals. You know what I'm saying? That's somebody that might be able to tell me something about marriage. I can appreciate it. Look, I thank all of you for watching the show. Sorry about that little faux pas earlier with the mic, but we got it together. You know, sometimes you gotta build a ship while flying it. It happens. It happens. And if you want to know who we're listening to, just in case you didn't catch it, this is WizKid. The song is Essence featuring Tems. Dope little track off his Made in Lagos album. But anyways, we had a good time. Remember, tomorrow it's going to be Music Monday, live here on IG, on my IG folks. We're gonna be live on IG. I want you guys to give me, or if you're not gonna be on IG tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, that's cool. But just text me, hit me up in the comments. Hey, you know what? I think this is the best barbecue song. If I'm at a barbecue, I gotta hear this. If I'm at a get together, they better play this. Come on live with us. We're gonna have a good time. Thank you guys. A lot of people felt like the show was good tonight. Oh, I appreciate it. I was by myself. I was sweating. You know, this thing ain't always that easy. I hope I make it look easy, but it ain't easy sometimes. So anyways, we out of here. I'll see you guys on Music Monday tomorrow night. Don't forget, you can support the Nitty Gritty Show by going to www.squadlocker.com. Type in the Nitty Gritty Show. Type in the whole thing like a Tribe Called Quest. So you can help support us by buying merch and different things that's going to help support the channel. It helps us get this newer camera that I'm rocking today. I hope the camera quality looks better. Y'all can hit me up afterwards. Let me know what you thought. It pays for things like Streamlabs, having our stream deck, our mic. You know, there's a little bit of a cost that go into this. So we appreciate your support. But we out of here, y'all. Love, peace, and a bottle of hair crease. It's your boy Jay DeCosta. I'm out.